Hi, everybody. I'm excited today to introduce you to the Powerhouse team in economic development. My name is Angela Greneveld. I'm the Economic Development Manager. I also have a skill set as a business disaster recovery trainer and facilitator. I'm one of three in Canada through the Economic Developers of Alberta and the International Economic Development Corporation. So I'm very proud to be serving in the backyard. Not that I wanted to be serving in a disaster, but I sure am glad to be able to serve that extra skill set here through the town of Okotoks. So one of the requests from council was to communicate to the business community as much as we can, reach out to them and let them know what we're doing. So that is what today's episode will be about. And we are going to be coming on live every week to talk to you, to have guests. Some of the guests will be from our internal staff to communicate to you what we're doing. Maybe we'll bring a counselor on now and then also we'll be bringing business owners. But today is the team that is behind a lot of initiatives that we are doing. Where have we been the last 6 weeks? Very busy. There's 18 initiatives that are being done under business disaster recovery. These are not sexy things that you want to see up front, but believe me, they were important and they were getting done to remove red tape so that we could get ready to reopen you. Those were not done just by economic development. They were done by the whole town of Okotoks administration. A lot of these 18 initiatives are in shared accountability partnership with planning, community service, our events people, the finance department. We're going to be talking a little bit about what those are, but I want to introduce you today to this team. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and I'm going to let them describe what they're doing to contribute to the 4 buckets of initiatives that council has directed us for this year. BDR is business disaster recovery. That is the #1 priority. Business retention expansion is the #2 priority. #3 is downtown revitalization. And #4 is business investment attraction, BIA. So Deanna, do you want to start off first?
Sure. Hi, my name is Deanna, and I'm sure a lot of you know me just from various events and speaking to you over the last 6 years that I've worked for the town. I am the Economic Development Administrator, which basically as a coordinator where I coordinate all the projects with the various business centers and with external customers and with all my team. So I'm constantly in contact with various business initiatives in the downtown, some of the boards that we have, and some of the programs that we have going on for the businesses. So I'm constantly in connection with everyone and coordinating my team and making sure everything runs smoothly, and hopefully it does. So you can contact me anytime on my email, which a lot of you already have, and I'd be more than happy to assist you with anything that you have a question about.
Thank you, Deanna. Can you give us an example of a local business downtown that, I'm going to take a chance here because we did invite her on and we just didn't give her a lot of notice, and I'm sure she won't mind that we use her name. But Lisa with Hubtown, can you just share so that the business owners can understand your role, an example of when we received that email from Hubtown, what that triggered you into action items to help under BDR?
Hubtown has done some great pivoting and great ideas since this pandemic has started. They have sold tons and tons of their isolation mugs, which is great. They deliver their beer to people. They're taking videos when people are receiving their beer on their patios and on their driveways with social distancing. So they've been able to do quite a bit within the community, and they're, of course, a strong part of our community. They did send me an email a little while ago and requested an opportunity to expand their patio when the time comes for them to actually open their business a little bit more to the public. And they want to expand onto the parking lot in the front and do a little bit of social distancing with their tables and follow all the guidelines that are set forth from the government. And so I then connect them to planning, who has the rules and regulations regarding our land use bylaw. And they have permitted them to go forward with that. So I've connected them to planning. So they are in talks right now to get that started. So it'll be an exciting initiative that they've begun for the downtown. And hopefully we'll see that soon with the nice weather that's out right now.
Thank you, Deanna. And so that's an example. We move these files and these emails as fast as we can to get you reopened. So as this is a new pandemic, nobody understands the rules here. We are all pivoting and creating. We have a very supportive council and a very supportive senior leadership that is open to ideas. Planning in development services, the ideas that they have come up with and pivoted, they've come up with ideas to remove tape. They step right up. They contributed to the survey that'll be launched today of ideas to suggest to you, will these work? So we have these meetings with these guys. How can we move the regulations? Remember, some of the regulations government have are out of our jurisdiction. It is the provincial, the Municipal Government Act, the MGA Act. We can't trump that stuff. We can't trump some of the federal laws, or AHS is one of them, Alberta Health Services. But believe me, on a local level, you have a team here, and just about everybody, it's a culture direction from the CAO and from the council to try to pivot, to change, to remove red tape and come up with these ideas. Also, our partnership with the Okotoks Entrepreneur Ecosystem and any of the informals that would like to reach out to us with ideas, please contact myself or Deanna at any of our information, because we are all ears to move that forward. So another one, that leads me to the famous Annette that everybody knows. Could you please introduce yourself and let us know what you do to the community?
Hi there, everyone, and my name is Annette, and yes, many of you will be familiar that I am back in a role with the Economic Development team. I'm working as the Economic Development Assistant, Business Licensing, One-Stop Shop helper. Right now, as your business is changing and maybe you've got some changes to your account with us, I'm here to help facilitate that. And also any comments that you may have with regards to how to get a business license, how to make changes to your business. Perhaps you're growing, perhaps you have changed from a home occupation major to a minor. With the one-stop shop, we can guide you through that process and make it as easy as we can. I have had contact with especially many of the home-based businesses and have shared with the team some of your thoughts and how you are pivoting and just how the whole situation has affected your businesses. And again, just one-stop shop, connecting you to how to apply for your license and how to make any changes that are affecting your business license with the town.
Thank you, Annette. So in the past year, I would say that this team here, nothing to do with me, this team here has received probably 4 different gifts from business owners, from cupcakes to flowers to pizza. But recently, the most have gone to Annette. And the reason is Annette's customer service just goes above and beyond. I can't remember the name of the business, but they were desperately wanting to get open by the weekend. And they had not properly understood the role from the fire department, what they needed for approval. And Annette, because she's been with the organization for so long, has a great relationship with a lot of the business centers, and she immediately got on the phone, and as we work as a work family together, please, can you please help? And so she was pretty, I don't know if you remember this story, Annette, and you probably remember the business owner, but I was pretty proud of the team that they moved things like that. So this is the movement that we do, that going above, and why I'm very proud of this team. But Annette, she's been around, she knows how to navigate. Sometimes you'll phone in and you'll ask for a business license in a certain way, and at the end of the call, she's convinced you to another way to apply. That's maybe a little less red tape. But it's really hard. You're the entrepreneur, and your job is not to understand the government rules. that's what our role is. So thank you, Annette. You go above and beyond, and she is constantly educating herself on, it's like we've lit a new fire in her. We kind of have to calm her down now and then at meetings, but to get you guys open as we go through these relaunch phases together. We're doing everything we can to learn. We're human, we're not going to get it right, so please contact us with your suggestions too. So thanks, Annette, for that.
Thank you.
Leslie, so I poached Leslie from I knew to hire the best, and so we had some big projects last year under business retention and expansion, and she is a specialty in this. She comes from the Vulcan area, and one of my most proud things about Leslie is she knows how to handle me, for one, but keep that passion, we're good yin and yang, but she immediately moved to Okotoks to serve the community. She knew how important it was when she took this contract that I need to be on the ground, in the ground, and understanding. So Leslie, do you want to share some of your projects?
So I'm Leslie Warren. I am the Economic Development Specialist on this team. There's a variety of different projects that I'm involved in. One of the first one really that's been prioritized lately is the business resource page on the Town of Okotoks website. And what we've been trying to do with assistance through the Okotoks entrepreneurial ecosystem is to build a page for resources for business during this crisis. The one thing I really would, along with the federal and provincial resources, I really want to bring to the attention to businesses that there are a series of webinars that have been offered in the past and that continue to be offered from a variety of different resources. And those have been recorded and are available to businesses to access. So I won't go into the topics, but I just see that that's a really good resource for small businesses in the community when they're looking for more information. And I would keep an eye on that because I continually receive information daily, really, that we get added on to the website. There are some resources that have been added due to the relaunch last week from the provincial government, and I would suggest that businesses also go to the page to seek that information. The other thing that I've been working on is Angie mentioned the roundtables in her introduction. So the roundtables were done last year, and out of that was created an action plan to try and address those issues and concerns that were brought forward by various industry sectors in the community. The beginning of this year, we began looking at sort of a process review within the town to address some of those suggestions that were brought forward from the business community. We continue to work on that, leading to some concrete tools by the end of 2020. This involves people through development services, planning, safety, and economic development. And so I just would like to say, just keep an eye open. There have been some changes in terms of forms. They're being tested right now. The idea being is that internally we are able to share information more readily, and from the outside, businesses are able to see transparency and find information that they're most interested in receiving as they develop businesses in Okotoks. The other thing that we're doing is there's been some other projects that have been brought forward during business recovery, and also leading into the future, and some of those involve some innovative ideas that we're working on to assist small business as they move forward with the relaunch, and hopefully back to a normal way of doing business in not too long a future, if things can, we can get things under control within this whole crisis, this whole virus situation. Part of it as well is work on the back end with the website refresh, trying to ensure that we have as much information on the site for businesses to access either as they're pivoting their business or as they're starting businesses or investing in Okotoks. This all becomes part and parcel of the process review, but I just want the business community to know that in the background there's a lot of work being done to address those issues that we talked about during the roundtable.
Yeah, thank you. So one of the best way to get a hold of anybody on this team is I'm just going to say is to go to the town website and click under business, and I think it's under the business tab or under right now business recovery supports, which earlier when she was speaking, the screen was coming up there of, yeah, here's the tab that you want to go to. And we have it called business supports right now. All of our contact information is right in there. So if you contact anything, email, phone, you'll be immediately connected to us. And it's very rare that Annette lets 24 hours go by that someone is not getting back to them. So yeah, there's the phone number, 938-8052. Someone will be in touch with you right away. A lot of the questions that are coming in through emails and stuff right now are how do I do this relaunch? So we are going to stay in government's roles here are going to be very defined under the relaunching of state phase 1. And a lot of this is held by the provincial government. Our job in the local government will be to connect you to those resources. One of those resources are our business centers in the town of Okotoks administration. So if you're confused where to go, you can contact us as the one-stop shop. We will connect you immediately to the right subject expert matter in the organization. Our goal is to be your voice to the organization. As a business owner, where do I go? Council directed, that one-stop shop. Our goal is to work ourselves out of that, and that hopefully everything will be with an innovative technology of a click of a button that you'll be able to get. And we're going to get there. And that is what we heard reports and everything that everyone participated in as business owners last year that Leslie is project managing, that project is still moving forward. And I just want to give a shout out to Joan as the manager of communications, her little box face there, Okotoks. She is a huge team player, her department, anything that happens in this organization to serve you as a citizen or a business owner, it's that comms department that is communicating that. So we work very closely with them. Have we got it right? No, 100%. We're human and we're making mistakes and we're pivoting as we can and we're trying to learn new tools. We also, if we don't have the skill set or the capacity, we know immediately to go outsource it or do whatever we can. So with this business disaster and economic recovery, we are pivoting and doing the best job we can. So a big thank you also to Joan and her team. These are tough times of trying to get this right. I know there has been some complaints and I'm going to own that and say that we didn't maybe communicate in the best way from the beginning, but please don't hesitate for a minute and think that no work was getting done. We just weren't communicating the work. So we have put the recovery plan on the website under that business supports, that the report that we brought to council, and there's a framework in there. Emerge and sustain and recovery. Recovery has two components. Last Thursday at 3 p.m. when the Premier announced that phase 1 was open, that is when we immediately went to recovery. We gave an update. The director, Jeff Green, with Development Services and myself, gave an update to our Emergency Advisory Committee on what recovery looks like and what it means. Yes, here, if you guys would like to read this report so that you can understand what is the town doing. There is no way that we can put tactics underneath recovery because this has never been done before. Here it is. Thank you, Joan, for this. So under recovery, there's high-level strategic items in there. But there's no possible way that you can have a business plan underneath there with measurements until you know exactly what to do. And so my rule in training and facilitating is you don't plan recovery plans until you're in recovery. So here we are. So this team got together this weekend. We worked about, okay, now we've shifted. What do we got to do? We also talked to many people as we could, our politicians. It's why I represent the town of Okotoks Economic Development on our MP John Barlow's Foothills and Business Recovery Task Force team, FBRT. There's 5 MLAs on there, and then of course John Barlow. So from a regional perspective, we're learning resources and we're connecting you too. So it's going to be very important for the supply chain to keep your businesses going and growing if we lose any border shutting down for export and stuff. So that's why we immediately pivoted and created that. One of the things under recovery was the team had to pivot very fast of now we see that what the government's restrictions are for social distancing and guidelines to get you open. How can we help you? So the first thing we're doing is setting a survey out to ask you, and we pivoted that survey. The survey, and thanks to Joan and her team that have been working so hard to get it out, because as you know, with government, we have some legal liabilities we have to follow in communicating. And so we pivoted it from the Emerge Sustain questionnaire, we threw it in the garbage, and we immediately started over. We contacted our entrepreneur ecosystem, the formal ones, and said, do we have these questions right? We also gave it to our internal development services. Do we have these questions right? So if there's any questions when this survey that is launched today that comes out to you that are not in there that you need, please email and ask us. This is our job now to gather what you need, and that's how we'll pivot to making the recovery solutions for you. There's a certain role that government plays in this, so we will not do it all. One, we will not be competitive to private enterprise. And that's why I work with the informal and the formals to say, here is what the business community has said they need, who is doing what. And that is so great about that ecosystem because they've received money from the town. They also have grants that they can go after. So we don't need to be duplicating services. I'm going to be very frugal with the money and make sure there's a return on impact for you. And then this team that's in front of you here executes on it. And then we bring the people in if we don't have the skill set. So that's high level of what is happening under business disaster and recovery. Under business retention and expansion, we are still moving forward on removing the red tape to have a streamlined process for you. We have some big initiatives that I can't share quite yet. I'm hoping, but it's all about making it easy. Click of a button, reducing fees if we can. That is still on track. We'll still be delivering with that. That's what Leslie is working with the internal department. And really, that has nothing to do with economic development. It is everything to do with the organization. They are stepping up, and all the other departments, and contributing to how that they can, how we can all streamline this and do this. And under the downtown revitalization, there's a lot of projects that you're going to start to see unrolled. We needed council's approval at the last council of which projects we'll be moving forward and funding on. So now the communication on those is going to start to happen. And we hope to, if you have any questions about that, please contact us. We want to be as transparent as we can. And now that we have that ecosystem, we'll also be sharing that information there. And the business investment attraction. One of the questions came to us, are we still marketing? Are we still opening businesses? Every time I go in the office, I can't, and Annette's nodding, I can't believe how many business licenses I'm still signing. So people are pivoting, they're finding gaps. That's the great thing about entrepreneurs is they don't sit still. One of my favorite lines is, when you're sleeping, your competition isn't. So you really get to see who's an entrepreneur in times of disaster because they're seeking and they're looking for gaps and opportunities. And we're seeing it. This is a strong entrepreneur community because the business licenses are still coming in to pivot. And we're going to try to remove as much regulations as we can. And that's where I'm going to give a kudos to the planning and the safety department, safety and codes department, because they're really contributing to, wow, okay, the home-based business, everyone's at home and suppressed right now. What can we do? That's why you've seen some of those fees reduced and stuff. So even the community services, we had a great conversation about how to, so we don't duplicate the mental health supports. How can we be working together? So please, I think we're going to bring in Debbie Posey here because she is so well connected. Free resources available for all of you. We were working with our events, Jeanette Messer and Zachary and Alan Boss, like ways to pivot these different events that are the Busker Fest and everything. And maybe with the social distancing that we can't bring in do the parades the same way, but there's different ways we can do things. So those things are still happening. That all draws to marketing to bring business investment attraction to your community. And I would say roughly we probably have 5 leads before the pandemic happened that we are still working with, that these are big companies that want to come in that are going to be creating a lot of jobs that were not there, were not sealed, but they didn't leave. They're actually excited because they see this bond in Okotoks and how much we're all supporting and stronger together. And one of these companies had pivoted to serve the pandemic and is now adding that to their portfolio of a way that they can be expanding their business here. So that's a quick touch base. Please fill out the survey. that is being launched today. Please get everybody to follow Economic Development social media platforms. This is the communication channel for business to business. We don't want to oversaturate you of where to follow. The town is a business to citizens. The Town of Okotoks site, social media, that is for that information. We're really trying to sniper in on this channel to helping you business to business information. One of the last things I'm going to touch on is Shop Local. What are we doing to help Shop Local? Leslie is project managing a really great product, virtual reality, where we'll be bringing the Town of Okotoks online, and we hope to be promoting the whole business community. And we also will be partnering with Shop Local and Get in the Loop and our local radio station. So the formal entrepreneur ecosystem connected us to those informals that were doing things. And we as the town said, we're getting asked a lot of this stuff, and there already was some organic Shop Local thing. I think Okotoks, there's the Okotoks Mix and Mingle, they were already serving in that space, but how can we work together and do something bigger? And so we're going to be bringing a virtual reality really neat product that's coming that can never get done fast enough. I'm an entrepreneur as well, but we hope to have that unrolling soon for you, and we're bringing a tool to help you businesses, whether you're in phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3. So that's a lot. You guys are seeing my passion. You're seeing my energy. I don't think I've taken a breath for 15 minutes. The team's laughing at me, but that energy gets delivered in action items, and it's now time for us to step up and share this information with you. But please do your due diligence. Don't just complain that we haven't. Please contact us anyway so we can share it. But we will step up our communication game. So thanks for joining us today as step 1, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.